Hello, this is Uncle Jim. Today we're going to do a mini Ojos cross on the Big Daddy 310 bullet. And I use press, and you want to make sure your bit is totally centered and vertical. Otherwise, if it's canted, it'll distort your bullet. And then you got to find center. I could use my hollow pointer to find center and make a mark, but I just eyed it. For this test, we're just shooting jugs, but for accuracy, you don't want to distort it or go at an angle. And also, I use the bullet sizer to keep it in check so it doesn't expand before we size it, and it just keeps everything square. I'm going back at it. I want it a little deeper there, and so I use the press. Now, I could use the hollow pointer, but I like the cross. I've had good luck with the cross and 38, everything. So it's been a while since I used this Big Daddy 310, so I got to whip up a load for it so it'll feed in the Rossi 16-inch lever action. All right, if you want straight gas checks, you got to use the Uncle Jim tap method. I keep telling people, a firm tap, oof, and another, and then push through. You'll get straight gas checks every time. So this is soft lead with a crappy powder coat. Probably won't stick. And it weighs 317.6. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. You know it's heavy lead instead of an alloy. All right, so here's the cross. Get focused, dummy. All right. It's pretty darn good center, and I wanted to keep a little cross because it's soft lead, and I don't want it to fragment. But we'll see what happens there. All right. So this is loaded short, so it'll fit in the Rossi. That's the top crimp groove, which is not in the manuals. Let's see what happens. I was hoping for more drama with the jugs. Only one or two flyers there. A foof. Okay, we got 1248. I backed down the charge because we're crimping lower. Talk about that in a minute. Jug 1 got exploded. Jug 2, 3, I found a little frag. Then it went through 4 and 5, and I found it on the table. Right there. Along with 2 fragmentations. So there's 4 just like it was when I shot it. There's a frag that came out of 4, bounced off of 5. Another one came out of 3, bounced off of 4. And we'll weigh those. So we definitely got penetration, but didn't get a good shroom. And so there's the core. And all these were found on the table. And the rest are lost in space. So nothing in jug 4. And nothing in jug 5. I was hoping for a big shroom, but, you know, if I didn't put the cross on it, it would have made a nice horn-shaped mushroom. There's number 5, and there's a piece there. Now, something went through a brand new piece of carpet. It's brand new, so I know that was it. And something went out the back, and that's got a nice rubber backing to it. So we lost something through the very back after jug 5. All right, primer looks good. I had to whip up a load because there's no data for loading on the top crimp groove, loading short. The only data really is the Lyman Cast Bullet Handbook, and that's for loading long. You do not. Well, let's go for the weight here. Okay. You do not want to load the top crimp groove on the load data for loading long. You'll compress your powder and blow up something. All right. So we'll do the size here. It's kind of a disappointment there. Maybe I should have went shallower, but it disintegrated right where the cross ended on depth. So that's all we got. I'm a little bummed out, but hey, still pretty devastating. And so straight up, we got like 602 straight across. And then if you go to an angle, we got 606. All right. Anyway, this is how it's supposed to be loaded in the manual, loaded long. That only fits Ruger revolvers, the Marlin if you hand feed it because it doesn't like to carry up. It's such a big bullet. And the Rossi needs to be loaded to the very max shortness on that top crimp groove. I went to the very top of that thing for it to feed, and it was touching the lands when it was longer. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. I didn't want to hot rod it, and I'm glad I didn't. Until next time, America. All right, we have time for a few side notes. I used 2400 powder, Winchester primer for both Magnum and regular, and that bullet was heavy, 317.5 grains or whatever. That's something to be, Anyway, you got to be super careful with this bullet, especially if you crimp at the top and do it overall short because of volume. It takes up a lot of case. Also, a side note, yesterday, the Bohemian Hunting Club did a 200 grain nozzler, and that thing pancaked only after 2 small cranberry jugs, and I found that fascinating. Anyway, he's working on it. Check him out. I love the guy, great channel, and we like the same music. So there's that. And we're both in the country. The country! Anyway, be super careful with this bullet. It won't feed in some guns. You got a lever. It's just so long and everything. And then if you do it short, like I did for the Rossi, where it'll feed now, I had to back down, and I did a careful assessment of what I thought would be a good charge with 2400, which is more forgiving than, say, H110 or something. You got more space to up and down, and it turned out great. So I could bump it a little, but I think this will be a good one to test for accuracy and in different guns. Now, my Contender chambers this no problem. A loaded long. The Marlin will do it if I hand feed it because it carries up and it gags sometimes. The Rossi says, hell no. It won't feed it at all unless you load it to the very shortest you can on that crimp groove. And this was soft lead. Oh, also the gas check came off because I found that often happens with soft lead on the gas check coming off because the water jugs tear them off. Somewhere in jug 3 or something, it just likes to tear off the gas checks when you're hitting water with a lot of feet per second. So it didn't come off like early. So there's that. The gas check worked and everything. So it just comes off in milk jugs with soft lead. That's my findings. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Got some good friends here, and that's what it's all about. So until next time, America again.